Ty Bartell in with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we're on the scarlet side of the MVAC conference with the boys basketball. It's Lowellville's head coach, Matt Olson, joining me today. Coach Olson, how we doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, not doing too bad. I'm sure you guys are doing real well. Lowellville's like on top of the world after that football season. I'm sure a lot of those guys, too, going to be transitioning to basketball now. Some returners. How are practices looking, first and foremost?
Yeah, good. We're just, to be honest, just kind of getting into it right now, full go. Football guys had a great year. They were a little banged up after that Lucas game. A tough team that they played at home. But I was proud of them all year that the way that they handled themselves. We have a good senior class with good leadership, so I wasn't surprised that that they did as well as they did in football. And we're excited about this season. We need to get a little more healthier, but once we get healthy and get into things a little more, we're excited for this year.
Why don't we get a chance to meet the team a little bit more in depth? The guys you're going to be relying on heavily for starting minutes, and maybe some new faces for the Rockets community that they have to get used to.
Yeah, sure. We have 8 seniors, so that's a first since I've been head coach to have 8 seniors, 5 juniors. So we should, like I said, have some good leadership. But Vinny Balone, Anthony Luceni, I think everybody's heard those names. They had some great years last year and the year before. Brady Benosky, those 3 have been starters for us since they've been freshmen. Brady's a little banged up right now, but he'll be back for us. So those 3, I really expect to be captains and show leadership on and off the court. We've also had 3 other letter winners and have started at some point for us last season in Ryan Dizdak, Mark Dubas, and Michael Balone. So those 6 all have a lot of varsity experience for us. So we expect that a lot out of those guys. Our other seniors, we've had some knee injuries. They've been battling the whole high school. Alex Medelsky, Kevin Johnson, and Ricky Palumbo. So they're looking to kind of get back into it, and they've looked good for us in the preseason. So those are some guys that might be able to help us out and give us some minutes. And then some of our juniors, Matt Lucido, I had already mentioned Michael Balone, Tino, Riverio Ocasio is another junior, Ryan Nider, and Braylon Dabney. We also have a big guy, a sophomore, Thomas Dubas. He played on the line for the football team. Mm-hmm. He's another guy that is looking to compete for some minutes. So, we have a solid 14 guys that are competing for time, which is a good thing, especially in a small school. So practices are going to get a little heated, a little amped up, but that's a good thing. So
with a lot of the same roster back from a year ago and you guys being right there on a conference championship, I got to imagine there's been discussions amongst not only the coaching staff, but amongst just the team, as well as this being a year that you could double up what the football season did and come away with an MVAC championship.
Yeah, obviously that's one of our goals. It has been for a while to win the league and then compete for the district. But yeah, we obviously feel we have a great shot at it. We know it's a long season. When you play 22 games, to come full go and give the energy every night is tough. So we know what we're in for, but we fully expect to compete and win it this year. We do. And if we don't, we feel like that's going to be a little bit of a failure for us. So we fully expect, and the seniors fully expect to compete and win the league.
Talking about that, what kind of needs to be done, or what do you need to see be done over the course of the season? In other words, what are the strengths you're going to need to play to, and what are some things you want to shore up from maybe last year and what you've seen in practices going forward in order to accomplish that goal?
Yeah, we can't be one-dimensional. A lot of times it's easy to look at Vinny to score and stare in the post at Anthony and get him the ball, but those things are predictable. We feel like we're going to have 5 guys out on the floor that all can score. So it doesn't have to just be Vinny. It doesn't have to just be Anthony. If Anthony or Vinny attract a double team, we should find the open man and he should be able to score for us. So I think that's going to be something big for us this year. And we want to run. We feel like we have a lot of guys on the bench and we have a lot of guys that just have a motor that doesn't quit. So we want to up the tempo a little bit and keep running, keep guys fresh. And we haven't been able to do that in the past. We thought, in a few of the previous years we could have done that, but then injuries and other things have limited us a little bit. So, yeah, up tempo and just to be a threat at all positions offensively.
I'm liking to, I mean, outside of the conference schedule, which takes up and eats about 14 games of your regular season, I like what you've done non-conference wise. There's a lot of games on here too that, I mean, they're going to be competitive and tough teams. Talk to me about some of these non-conference games that you're personally excited for to test these boys against the season.
Yeah, that was the thing from the get. I wanted all of our non-conference games to be as tough as possible. I mean, I had told our AD that going back a couple years, we wanted to be as hard as possible. So, it doesn't always work out that way with the scheduling, but we have some tough opponents. Southeast, we got to go up to their place. They have a good senior group, we know. Bristol, we got to go to their place on a Friday night. They're always tough. Valley Christian is going to be another team that we play at home that's tough. East, try to think of some of our other. We got to go to Camel. Camel, we know, lost a lot of guys from last year, with their district championship team, but always going to their place is going to be a little rowdy. Who was trying to think of some of our, South Range at their place. It's supposed to be our second game of the year, but they're going to still be probably playing football. So that's probably going to be moved back, but that's going to be a tough one at their place. So I'm forgetting a couple of them, but we wanted them to be hard games and away. And all the better. Whatever can prepare us for the tournament, we're all for. I've coached for 6 years. This is my 7th year. The past 5 years, we've lost to the eventual district champion. So we know we're close. We want to get over that hump. So I'm hoping, with our schedule, that'll contribute to getting over that a little bit.
A lot of great opponents on that schedule, no doubt, too. And I mean, hey, you guys beat that Camel team last year when they did have all their pieces in Rocket Mortgage, too, to win that Ohio River battle. So you guys were solid a year ago. What I'm kind of curious about, Coach, when you only have 5 starting spots, so many minutes to go around, but so much leadership, so many quality basketball players on a team, what kind of determines who gets minutes, who gets starting time? What do you need to see in practices? What do you and your staff need to see in practices to kind of determine that?
Yeah, I mean, if we feel like we have 6 guys ready for varsity minutes, we're going to go with 6 guys. If we feel like we have 12, we'll go with 12. Now, that doesn't mean they're all going to get equal time, but if we feel like they can contribute varsity minutes for us, they're going to play. I mean, if we can get more bodies in there and have fresh legs, it's going to help us that much more. So, and it's a combination of things, at the varsity level. Do you mesh with the other 4 guys? Are you? The main thing with me is, are you taking good shots and are you playing hard defense? And as long as you're doing those things and aren't hurting us offensively, you're probably going to get some time. But that is one of our concerns, having 8 seniors, 5 juniors, to try to keep everybody happy with playing time. We've had those conversations. The positive is these guys have all grown up together and they all like each other on most days, at least. So we've had those conversations. But like I said, if we feel we have 10, 12 guys ready, they're going to get their time.
What do you hope the boys would say that are seniors now? What do you hope after they graduate they take away from this boys basketball program and that they say they've taken away from you as their head coach?
Well, I hope they've grown and learned the game of basketball, but I also hope they've learned a little bit about themselves and hard work. And I hope we've taught them, some life lessons along the way. I just know with this senior group, what they've gone through, from junior high till now, they're going to have some success in track. But as far as team sports, football, basketball, baseball, they're hungry to win. And and I know they won the league in football, but they're hungry to keep winning. And we really want to get that tournament this year. And I know they're hungry to do that. I know they were hungry and disappointed. They wanted to go further in football. But it's so close, the margin of error in playoffs. That they were right there with Lucas. A few things go a different way. Brady doesn't get injured. Who knows what could have happened. And things like that have happened to us in the past. We were in the district finals a few years ago. My best player, Matt Vizdak, got his 6th foul, and it went the opposite way. So the margin of error is so close. But I know these seniors are very hungry to try to win that tournament. But I'm hoping they learn some stuff along the way, too.
The deeper you go in that tournament, the more of a roll of a dice it becomes, certainly, Coach. And I mean, looking at this, are you a firm believer of success breeds success? In other words, do you think that this season that they've had in football too, winning that conference too, do you think that there could be carryover success, carryover momentum now from that going right into basketball season?
I do. Mentality is a big thing. A lot of times the game is won before they even step out on the floor. But I know these kids believe that they could beat and win anybody on any given night. And sometimes that comes in, bites us in the butt. They're a little too confident or come into an opposing gym and don't prepare themselves, like they would against a top-notch opponent, say. So it's definitely important. You look at successful programs, they started somewhere, but once they get successful, it just that pattern seems to continue. I don't know. It seemed like we got over the hurdle a few years ago when we finally, we lost to McDonald every year for years, and finally we got over them one year, and now it's like, okay, the confidence is building, and we had a 20-win year last year, we're a little short of our goals, but we were right there, and we're hoping to get over that hump this year.
I know you guys are all hungry to keep on building from that. You're never satisfied with what happened the last year. And I mean, that's every athlete's kind of mentality, I feel. I also know it's a team mentality as far as the coaching staff is concerned, too. If you want to have great programs, too, it takes more than just a head coach. So in saying that, Coach, I want to get a chance to meet your staff, meet some other big names in the Lowellville boys basketball program that you'd like to give a shout out to.
Yeah, Steve Hunt has been with me for as long as I can remember. He does more for these kids behind the scenes than anybody, including myself. So I really appreciate his help, and I know these kids all look up to him, and we wouldn't be where we're at as a program without him. So I really appreciate him and my whole my whole staff. Nick Ballone has been with me from the beginning too. He helps out with our JVs and varsity. Mike Minnie is our freshman coach. He helps out too. Steve Hunt, my assistant, has a little bit of trouble seeing with his vision. So Mike helps out with him and rides and stuff. So that's very, very much appreciated. We do have a new face on our varsity staff this year, Spiro Sheldon. He actually played not for me. Mike Mangine was the head coach. I was an assistant at the time, but he was a player, always loyal. So those are the 5 varsity guys on staff. And the main thing with me is I can trust all of them. I can trust all of them. I know they'll do whatever for me. I know the kids all enjoy them. So, yeah, those guys have been with me, and I appreciate all of them. Obviously, all the kids, the administration, everybody's on board this year. It's easy when you're winning. Everybody's on board this year. So I've had to fight people away, kind of. So we're just excited to get going. I mean, we've only been practicing for 3 days, but I mean, we would play tomorrow if we could.
We're super excited for this upcoming season for you guys as well, Coach. And if everything we've already talked about hasn't gotten the community excited, let's put a bow on this and a little bit of shameless self-promotion. Shout out why that community needs to get out there and support this boys basketball team this year.
Same reason they supported football. These kids show a lot of passion, a lot of heart. They're going to give it everything they got every night. Like I said, 22 games is a long season, so it gets a little redundant, once you get into January, February. So we need that energy. We need everybody's support. It's been, I don't remember the last year where we won the league. It's been a number of years and a district championship. So, to get people in that gym, let's fill it up. Let's get excited. Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Head coach Matt Olson and the Lowellville Rockets are ready for takeoff, and we're ready here on YSN Live as well. Don't forget, you could catch some Rockets basketball games on ysnlive.com for completely free this year, thanks in part to our wonderful sponsors once again. This has been a first edition of Coach's Corner with Ty Bartell and Lowellville boys basketball coach Matt Olson.